Let's talk about Dick Vitale for a second because Dickie V is not on our televisions anymore. He is dealing with some vocal problems. He's in the middle of a cancer battle, I believe. Where he came back for the UCLA Gonzaga game, and that was an awesome moment. And he was crying, and everybody was into it. And
that was the highlight of the season. So
kind of wasn't it? And then he's dealing with vocal cord problems, I guess, right now. So he's on voice rest, which is
I think he's getting treatment right now too. So that's like a part of
So he needs somebody. He's on a competing network. We know that he's not a Fox guy, but he is a college basketball guy, and we're college basketball guys. So
he's a lifer.
We're gonna help amplify Dickie V's existence in the college basketball realm, Tate. Which is to say that Dick Vitale, this stood out to us because we want to use Dickie V's tweet, Dickie V's stance as a jumping off point for another discussion. Dick Vitale said that he had his Super 7. Who were the Super 7? That he said?
Vitale picked his Super 7 teams, baby. So you're already locked in there. Baylor at number 1, obviously. Then Purdue, Gonzaga, UCLA. And then we got other undefeated team, USC. Shout out to Chris, our director. And then we got number 6, Duke, and number 7, Will Wade and LSU. Those are his 7 top teams, right?
Those were his top 7. Yeah. And then I saw he followed up his Super 7 by saying he now has an Elite 8 because he forgot to put Auburn on that list, who Auburn's ranked what, like 4th?
Fourth.
They play at Bama tonight, by the way.
Yes.
It's going to be an awesome game.
It's going to be a great game.
Because Bama shows up for the good teams. But Bama lost to Missouri, but they're still favored.
Bama is a coin toss team. Like,
they're a make shots team.
You don't know what you're going to get with Bama.
So Dick Vitale said those are his Super 7. He's now amended it to his Elite 8 after what he called Upset Saturday. Point is, and the reason I want to talk about this because I don't really care enough to suss out Dickie V's power rankings. I just found it interesting that he chose to cut off his cutoff point was 7 teams. Then he added an 8th, and he said that's the cutoff. My question to you, Tate, because this is the discussion I want to have, is where is your cutoff point? How many teams? Because last year we were talking about Gonzaga, Baylor, and then everyone else. That was it. It was a 2-horse race. A few years ago, it was like Kansas, but before COVID ended, the canceled the NCAA tournament. Kansas, Dayton, Baylor, I think was in that mix. Michigan State thought they had a chance. I forget who up, but there was like when we were trying to do the cutoff line, you had like 4 or 5 teams maybe, and then there was a cutoff. Last year it was 2 teams. Where are we at right now? In almost mid-January now, where do you stand? Where are you cutting it off, saying if we're doing tier talk, like this is where the big gap happens right here?
I think I like the Elite 8 that Dickie has. I do like that, but I have a couple teams that I'm going to throw in there. I maybe have. I'm adding some teams to the 8.
I have 11 teams.
The 8 are locked.
Okay.
And then I think there are still some teams on that same tier that I'm going to throw in. I think Kansas.
Okay.
I'm going to throw in there.
And despite losing to Texas Tech without
don't care.
Tech's top 2 scores.
I'm talking about March tournament time. We're talking about like who can win a championship. I think these are the Elite 8 that can win the championship. Kansas is still in championship conversation for me. Michigan State is still in championship conversation for me, so I'm going to throw them in there. Redacted, Illinois is still in championship conversation for me. So those are 3 teams. I'm at 11 right now, and then I
love Illinois.
Well, I think the 12th,
how are you not?
I think the 12th team is Wisconsin and Johnny Davis.
Whoa,
that is my top 12.
How has Illinois not sent you an orange blazer yet? Like you've done more for Illinois basketball
because I have so much respect for the 2005 team, and I hate that they have to look at North Carolina as this team that they hate.
Is respect a word or is it guilt?
It's not guilt. It's just like,
all right.
Look, it is what it is. Sean May was a man on a mission. What can you do? I mean, what can you do? I mean, you can't do anything about it. But I want them to get their redemption. I want them to win a championship because I like the Flying Illini. We love Stephen Bardo on the show. Kendall Gill's one of my favorite Charlotte Hornets ever. So I want Illinois to succeed, but I also don't want to be the guy that's sticking the neck out for them and they keep losing and they're blaming me for losing. So redacted is what I call them on the show. But that's my 12. I think that's my 12.
You're doing
Villanova.
12.
I thought Villanova was going to be in there, but I don't have Villanova.
That's a lot of teams.
I think those 12 teams have a real chance.
So last year we had 2 and then it was a gap, and this year we have 12?
I have 12.
All right. No, I'm not saying you're wrong.
Let's just be frank about it. Baylor and Gonzaga are not the Baylor and Gonzaga last year. So I don't think, and then UCLA, I haven't seen them play basketball in so long that I don't really even know. Auburn is a sneaky team. USC is a very, very, very good team. Obviously, they're undefeated. Arizona might have the best player in the country. So
here's where I
it's not two. It's not two.
I got this at tier 1A. Tier 1A. I got Baylor, Gonzaga, UCLA, Auburn, and I think Arizona has to be in there. And these are all teams that I've seen enough. They've been challenged. I've seen them at their worst. I've seen them at their best. They've all lost games with the exception of Baylor.
Yeah.
They've all looked shaky at times, but like I've seen enough to like know what disaster looks like for them, and I still trust them in spite of that. You know what I mean? Like I've seen Arizona. We talked about it when they lost to Tennessee and they came out of the gate laying a flat egg and looked to be absolutely shell shocked by that crowd. And they came back and ultimately like kind of impressed me with how they lost, which I know doesn't make any sense, but so those are the team. Auburn, their one loss was UConn, right? And that was in Atlanta. Same sort of deal. Like
Bahamas.
These teams that even though they've lost, I'm not selling. They were respectable losses. Even UCLA getting smoked by Gonzaga. Whatever. I trust UCLA. I trust all those teams. Those are teams I trust. Those are teams that I believe are going to be in the mix for the rest of the season. Then I go to tier 1A.1. It's not 1B.
Yeah.
It's 1A.1.
0.1. Okay.
Just slightly below tier 1A. USC, Duke, Purdue, Kansas, and Michigan State, who are all teams that like I want to believe in, but I also kind of have to ignore. USC, by the way, USC fans are scratching their heads. They're like, we're undefeated. Why are we not in the mix? Why are we not on tier 1A? USC's best, the only team they've beaten that's going to make the tournament is San Diego State. So I'm still waiting for USC to like actually play the meat of the Pac-12, and I think they know that. I think USC fans know that they should not be favored, even though they're up there in the mix. I don't think there's a USC fan that's like, we're definitely going to win the Pac-12. We're better than Arizona and UCLA. I don't think they believe that yet.
No, I think Arizona is the team in the Pac-12 that's, I mean, they think they're the best team.
Yeah.
And I think UCLA, we just kind of have them.
UCLA's a legacy pick.
Yeah, exactly. Out of respect.
Arizona's probably actually the most talented. Then USC is undefeated. So they're like, what about
and I could you could talk me into USC being the one that lasts the longest in the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Duke, Purdue, Kansas, Michigan State, all those teams obviously very, very good, but like Duke losing at home to Miami, head scratcher. Kansas losing to Dayton, head scratcher. Purdue losing at home to Wisconsin, losing to Rutgers. Heads. So those all come with some head scratches. And then to me, there's a huge drop off. Like to Houston, to your Wisconsins, who I believe in Wisconsin. I am too scared to say anything too bad about Wisconsin because they play Ohio State and Madison on Thursday. And as soon as I say something bad, they're going to beat the shit out of the Buckeyes. But I don't know how much Wisconsin being good is that Wisconsin has a really good basketball team and how much is just Johnny Davis has gone nuclear and he's going to have to sustain that for them to actually be national title good, you know?
Yeah. He might though.
He might.
That's the thing.
But that's my fear. Is like
the thing about Johnny basketball. He might.
If Johnny Davis is averaging 18 points a game, I don't think Wisconsin's that good. I think they need him having 30-point nights, night in and night out, to actually be national title good.
Yeah. And
I don't know if he can do that. We'll see. I don't know. So anyway, that's where I land. So what did I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I probably had 10. I had 5. And then a slight drop off, and then another 5, and then a huge drop off.
Yeah, see,
that's what I have.
And that's probably how mine would even out. But I think there's 12 teams that could win the title in my mind right now. Yeah. And someone's going to fall out of that 12. Someone's going to jump in. But I think there's 12 teams that actually matter. But it all starts with Dickie V, who started with 7, then went to 8.
Should we cross a team off every week?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do our big board. Cross it off for Dickie V. Hey there, thanks for watching Titus and Tate. For the full friend of the program experience, subscribe right below and come join us for all things college basketball. The action is heating up. Come join Titus and Tate.